Good morning from Low Country Shrimp and Knits. This is Tracy. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so lucky today because not only am I joined by the absolutely fabulous Judi Kirby from Maggie Loves Yarn, but I'm also with the absolutely amazing, fabulously, wonderfully kind, and we've kidnapped her for 2 whole weeks, Liz Eccles from Simply Made by Liz. So she makes all these gorgeous stitch holders. Here's a pair in front of me right now. We're going to talk to her in just a little bit. These beautiful stitch markers. Somebody already has bought these, so sorry. If you wanted these, you can't have them. They're sold. Okay, we can make more. That's how we do. But anyway, so we are getting started here this lovely Friday. Thank you so much. We've already got a couple friends joining us, Sam and Denise. So good to see you. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone that's here already. So glad you're here.
Fashion show.
Woo! We've made it, and can you believe it? We finished it.
Laverne and Shirley finished their tops.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now we, of course, because we're rebels. I don't know if you could tell that about us. We're just badasses. And well, I learned it by watching Judi, who never follows a pattern to the T because she's like, right? I mean,
well, sometimes it's because I've made a mistake and go, yeah, okay, I'll just keep going. No,
yeah.
Sometimes I follow a pattern to the T.
Well, I guess with color work, your color work always looks...
Color work you have to.
Yeah.
But sizing, not always, because,
right.
Well, because I have no shoulders. So, you know, if they say, oh, you make your sleeve this long, it's down to my knees. So obviously a lot of times when they say, this is how many balls of yarn you need, and I need 12 and they only have 10, I can get by with 10 because I know my sleeves are not going to be that long.
The other good news is because she has no shoulders, if you ever get trapped in a well, you call us.
I can
send her right down. She just kind of
I have no
right
shoulders.
down into a well.
So I did have to change this up here.
So.
And it worked out beautiful.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Go
close so that they can see it. It's just gorgeous.
Remember I said, I was afraid to take off that cording. It wasn't a problem at all. And I added 6 rows of seed stitch. And then the thing where I got a little stuck was I needed to pick it up on the sides as I went up. So I was afraid, is it going to look bad because these stitches are going this way and these stitches are going up and down. But I picked it up and it worked just beautifully. I loved it. Then, yesterday morning, I steam killed it. Because remember, it was just so, if you could see the before picture when I put it on when I finished it, yep. She took a picture. It looked lovely with my pajama bottoms.
Yes, it did. Woo! A Vogue cover, people.
But I looked like an armadillo with the heavy, on it. So yesterday morning, I said, I'm ready. So Liz gets up. I always get up before. Well, I had to get up early because the girls needed their pictures taken yesterday morning. So
it was a fancy day all around.
Yeah. So I went and got my boobs squished and came home. And I'm on the island, using the island in the kitchen. And Liz gets up and she's like, smells like something baking. Yep, killing the acrylic. It's acrylic baking. And I'm just going like this all over. And then I laid it outside and it dried and it was like, it changed. It had drape all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I did, because sometimes with steam killing, it smishes the stocking knit stitch, so it doesn't look good. I turned it inside out.
Oh, good thinking.
And did it on the wrong side. It cured the rolling down at the bottom. Yeah. It cured it here. It made the sleeve come out a little bit further. I love it. It's a little heavy for today because it's going to be 95 degrees. So it will come off as soon as I get home. But
not during the show, unless I bring out the tequila.
Well, yeah. I didn't last night. I was good.
You were a good girl.
We went out last night. Mm-hmm. Now show them yours. I love her sleeves. Wait till you see her sleeves.
So I even though I'm usually wearing sleeveless in the summer because it's hot, this material is a little thicker. So I wanted to use it more in the fall. So I wanted something with a little bit more sleeves. So what I did was I added these little guys.
Aren't they adorable? It just changes the whole look of it.
So here are the sleeves on this side. I still haven't, I just finished it last night during open knit night. So I still need to go and block it and steam kill it and all of that fun. But yes, so here is the finished product. And I
Won't
think
that be adorable with jeans? It'll just look adorable. But the thing is, guys, ours fit. We know what we're doing. It's a little scary.
I just listen to Judi usually, and I hope it
That looks
works.
cute with that shirt underneath.
So
it.
here, I mean, it all comes together. I think with jeans, it'll be cute, and it's warm enough. Again, it is going to be 95 today here in Hilton Head or Bluffton, but I think in the fall when it gets cooler, this will be perfect.
And that shirt underneath it looks cute.
I'm fancy. I'm super fancy.
So if you contact Tracy, she'll tell you how she did the sleeves.
That's right. Super easy, but because I had plenty of yarn left over from my striping. Because I did use, 4 different colors as opposed to the 2 that Judi used.
I love her colorway. I kind of look like
thanks,
Christmas,
Liz.
I think.
No, you don't. It doesn't. Maybe you think it looks red and green, but it's not. It's pink.
I know, but sometimes in pictures it comes out red and green.
Well, just
And
put a
then I'm
bow
like,
on your head and call it a gift.
Lord, I look like Merry Christmas.
Here I am. Happy holidays in July. So that's what's going on today. So we have officially, sort of, okay, now by we, I mean I was doing this last night, holding up our plan to go to dinner, because I'm like, I just have like 400 more stitches to do. Just sit still. I got to count. Stop talking to me. Stop. 48, 49. So that's what we did last night. So I'll just show you so you're all super proud of the progress I've made. Here it is. Woo! Look at how lovely.
This is a lot of stitches.
It does look like an intestine. It's part of our IBS series. It keeps growing.
I know.
Keeps growing. Last week, Emmeline had the kidney stone.
Which I still don't want.
Little kidney stone she created for the IBS series, and now I've got this must be the small intestine. It's gangrenous. It's a gangrenous small intestine. So I've got that going for me.
Well, she's there. Liz is showing Liz where you are.
I got a little head start on mine.
Can you see the cute little dip?
Look.
We're sitting there watching TV, and she's starting on hers, and I'm knitting mine, and all of a sudden she goes, "Ow!"
It has
You didn't see that in the picture? No! Oh, I'm loving it.
Well, when I decided to knit this with them, but I didn't really read the pattern. I just said, yeah, okay.
Judi will tell me.
Yeah, Judi will help.
We kind of all do that.
What yarn do I have to buy? Pick it out for me. And then when I looked at the pattern, when I arrived here, it says like cast on 1,000,000 stitches.
She developed an attitude
So I had a
like
little
that.
attitude about making this. But it's much better now. I really like it.
Well, what do you always keep saying? Remember, this is the whole sweater.
Yeah, that's the thing when you're knitting the whole, my God, it's 300. I have 348 on mine.
I have
like
296.
She's tinier.
296.
She's a little more petite. I'm jumbo
So she
petite.
should finish hers faster than
So
us.
that's something that you have to remember when you're knitting, and you're like, oh, God. You're knitting the whole thing though.
The
So
one-
you get up here, and then you have to do the sleeves. I'm like, oh,
That's going to be its own.
because
big
I have
fun.
short arms, so that's
And no
not-
shoulders. So again, wells. If you
I'll
can't
be
go out in a
done
well, you
well
need
before.
something dug out underneath your house. It's fine. We've got you.
So I'm should have done that yesterday at Sun City. There was a big story on Sun City. I live in Sun City. Some woman was walking by the dog park and heard a dog down in the well barking. Yippee. Oh my God, there's a dog down there. Now, nobody had said they had a lost dog because dogs have to be on leash. So everybody's like, call. I'm reading it on Facebook. Call security. So they get security there and they're listening. So now they're digging. They've dug up this big, huge spot. It was a bullfrog.
But a vicious one. And it's an attack bullfrog who wasn't on a leash, which is against the rules.
So today the big thing was, why don't we have a chapel? Why don't we have a chapel built in Sun City? It would be so nice. And,
well-
for weddings and funerals and stuff. And Gordon, I was reading them to Gordon, and Gordon goes, well, we have Lake Somerset for Viking funerals. What more do they want? So I posted it.
I do think that's enough. So yes. So bullfrog rester. There's a lot going on here in Bluffton, in case you didn't know. But
It's a
that's
happening town.
It is. It's. Well, we do have a lot happening with the news, but that's not quite Bluffton. But that's a whole different ball of murder. So we'll talk about that case.
So I have switched my color already. I'm on to the blue. I've done my 4 rows of green, and that was a big discussion last night. Should we do should I do one more and make it really wide? And then I decided, no, I don't think I really want to. I think I like this. And I've got my points. My mitered edges are going really, really well. And really, this is not a hard pattern. If you really want to try a nice, breezy, swingy type cardigan, and I love the swing cardigans. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
This is a great one to do. It gets a little tricky around the collar. But I did it before, and if you follow the directions to a T, it works. When this pattern first came out, there were a lot of problems, because that's when I made the first one that didn't fit well. And a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, but she stuck with it, and the designer was great, Cheryl and she got them all corrected, because if you look through how many pink things, so really, really try it, but make sure you get the latest update.
Yeah, it's Knitty.com. So if you look in Ravelry, I know I've mentioned this before. Sorry if you already know this and you're like, shut up. But if you look in Ravelry, you open it up, it's actually listed in Italian. And so what you need to do is down below, it's right underneath the link to it, is one from Knitty.com, Knitty.com. Use that one. This one is all in English, and it does show all of the errata on it. So you should be able to work with a nice clean copy. Now, here was the thing that and again, why we rely on Judi. So, there was, when you cast on 11 million stitches, okay, and you get to the next point, all right, Judi, because she got all Judi and she did this. So I'm just going to show the difference.
Okay.
So Judi, when she decided, she did hers one way. I'm going to show Liz's as well, and then you can each explain how you did yours, because I'm not there yet. So here's the bottom of Judi's, okay? And you're going to notice here, okay, that it's got a little bit more of the bumps. It looks kind of like, almost like a pearl stitch on this side. So it's got the bumps down here.
Ridge.
It's a garter ridge, okay? So that's that one. This is Judi's. Now, Liz followed the pattern exactly. Okay, and both are perfect, so I'm not that's no commentary on anything. But so Liz followed it, and you just start off with your stockinette stitches once you finish the edging, okay? And you're going to see, as with most stockinette stitches, it is curling at the bottom, okay? So perhaps we'll do some more steam killing up in here.
Oh yeah,
but
that'll lay flat.
I'm sure it will lay flat. But anyway, so if this is something that you would like to try, Judi, if you could please explain how you made your bottom.
Okay. Well, how I did mine was, I did the knitted cast on, because I just never ever learned the long tail cast on. So I do almost all my cast ons, unless it's like an I-cord cast on or something like that. I do the knitted cast on. Well, if you just start knitting from the knitted cast on, it'll make a really loopy, ugly bottom. So you take that first row and you knit it across through the back loop. Just that first row off of the cast on.
But she did use the edging that they require, right?
What do you mean?
Well, here it says you have to do the first and last 8 stitches with purl one, knit one.
Oh yeah.
One, purl one,
oh yeah. So
the edge stitch, she did a seed
put
stitch.
the edge. And this is really your band.
Right.
Your band. So
right.
yeah, I did do those. I did those right. But then I knit it all the way across and through the back loop. And then you're supposed to start I was supposed to be starting the whole thing, and I realized that was going to throw off my garter pattern, because it's you knit purl, knit purl, knit knit. So it's 6 rows, and that creates your bump. So I decided then to knit back across so I could get on the right side and start with a garter. And I'm really glad I did, because it gave it just enough weight that it held. And it makes a really, really nice decorative edge.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think. And Liz is mad at me because I didn't tell her to do that.
Well, and I came in after the fact because I was finishing up my sleeves yesterday, and I'm like, I got to get this at least cast on. And so I've started, but I don't do the knit cast on. I do the long tail cast on. So I started with that. And so ours will be, a little bit different, I'm sure, as we, come together with all this. Yeah.
But going back to Ravelry, here's a good reason why you use Ravelry. Because when the first time I did this, I just did it exactly the way the pattern set, and of course, I saw the thing. It doesn't work. I used the linen, and the linen stretched, and it was awful. So I've always wanted to make this again because I love the pattern. Well, this time because I have more brain cells about knitting, and in the instructions it says, you have to, for the sides that come around, you put a marker, so you got where the marker is, where the side is, where the side is. Well, to create the mitered edge, it says knit to 2 before the marker and do your decrease. 2 before the marker, do the decrease. And my brain is going, that's not right, because I'm doing 2 on the front and 2 on the back. They should all be on the back.
Right.
So what's wrong here? And I was going to change the pattern, and I decided, well, let's see. So I went back into Ravelry. Always go back into Ravelry. And I'm looking at the design page, and because up at the top it'll say comments. People make comments, because a lot of times when designers give it free for 24 hours, I always put a little comment, thank you so much, I like this, or whatever. And they always answer back because they're so sweet. So I read through the comments first to see if anybody said anything. And one person did, but she didn't answer. So I'm like, I don't know. And nobody else addressed it. So then I saw on the page that she had a knit along in her group when she first did this. And I went, oh. So I went to the group, because there was like 200 and some pages on it, but I thought, I'll just start reading. And I kept reading because she was answering questions as they were all doing it, because they were finding mistakes and she was fixing it. So I'm going on, and somebody asked that, and nobody answered. And then eventually somebody asked it again, and she answered it, and she said, no, trust me, it looks like that, but you're really taking them both from the inside. And I've been kind of thinking about it, and I think she's right. She goes, it will come out perfect. So I'm trusting her final response. But if I didn't know that, if I hadn't gone back into Ravelry and taken some time to really study it and read it, I would be screwed up right now, because I would be going, nope, I'm going to do it my way, and it wouldn't be right. I would have one side that's really short and one side, it'd be more of a sarong. And so that's why Ravelry is good. Ravelry is good not for just looking at the pictures of the pretty patterns, but you can go back in and read and ask questions and fix any questions you have before you ever start. And sometimes you go, would this yarn work? And they might say, no, it's not going to, because. So use Ravelry. Use it to your advantage.
So if this works out wonderfully, you're so welcome. But if it gets screwed up, frickin' Judi.
My name is Tracy Winslow.
Frickin' Judi. Call her, send all your complaints to Sun City.
Yeah, because I don't get any.
Right. So, but you know what the good thing is too is
it would be a Viking funeral if it doesn't work on Lake Somerset.
There we go. So yeah, Ravelry when I first started, and I'm still kind of figuring out this whole thing, because I knew what I knew, and I kind of stuck with that because it was easy, it was fun, it was what I like to do, and I'm getting. I trust, a little bit harder each time, getting out of my comfort zone. And so last night, Liz was looking at new yarn, and you had a pattern in mind, correct, Liz?
Yes.
So.
It was, Boho Blush.
Boho Blush.
Right.
Okay, Andrea Mallory. That's right.
And today's the last day. She always does a birthday.
Yeah, she's turned 39, right?
Right.
So
she always does a birthday discount, and today's the last day. If you go into Ravelry and look up Andrea Mallory, and I think it's D-Ray Knits or something like that. Drea Knits.
Drea Renee Knits.
But just go to Andrea Mallory, and her patterns will pull up. You see some you like, buy them, and on the coupon code, type in all one word, 39, the number, feeling fine, and you'll get your discount. And she does it every year. Today's the last day. I saw an email this morning saying that.
Yeah, and her patterns are just gorgeous. In fact, coming up, we are going to do a couple of them, but I think we are going to do different patterns this time. So
we love her.
So, and I don't, yes, we love her. And first of all, she's so darn cute. She's so
adorable.
pretty. She's got this pretty family. She makes these gorgeous things. She always looks so beautiful in her pictures. I want to hate her, but she just seems too darn sweet. I mean, how do you hate somebody that's like...
You've met her online.
Yeah, online. She did a Zoom meeting with one of the knitting groups I belong to in Rhode Island, and she showed us how to, you get the wool and you card it and you wash it, and then she spun it, and just kind of talked about how she gets ideas for her design, and she was very nice, very interesting. and
do that one
it made me love her even more.
Yeah, I mean, she seems so lovely and so wonderful. So it is nice if you.
And she gets the wool and she cards it. Yeah, you have to have sheep to do that. Sun City won't let me have sheep in the backyard.
That is rude. I find that rude and
maybe
wrong.
alpacas.
Right.
You know, my friend Lori has a condo in Myrtle Beach, and she's like on the 4th floor. It's a oceanfront condo. Very, very beautiful. You know, she rents it out during the summer, and she's there in the winter. When she got it, she was reading through the covenants, and it says they're not allowed to raise chickens in the building. And I'm thinking, who goes to Myrtle Beach for an ocean vacation and raises chickens? I'm bringing my chicken with me.
Well, I'm saying, what if you get a sheep, but it's your comfort sheep? You know what I mean? You could have one of those little things on it that's like, this is for my stress. I have anxiety. I need my comfort sheep. And
when
then
she gets stressed, she loses all her wool. So
it's not her fault. She needs me. I need her. And look at what we did with this. I made a gangrenous intestine with her.
No sheep and no chickens in Myrtle Beach.
All right. Well, good to know. Good to know that we don't have to do that. So this one does have 11 million stitches. So make sure, and in the beginning, oh my God, when you're trying to count them all out, be in a quiet space where no one's, asking you questions and things like that, because that's the time that my children always want something. I'm like, ah!
It's pretty rhythmic. And just remember, you only have to, out of the 6 rows, you only have to purl twice, and then the rest are knit, so it goes much faster. Right. It really does.
Yeah, once you get it started, you guys look like you've come a long way.
I think I just started it on Sunday before I picked you up at the airport on Monday.
Yeah.
And you started Tuesday, Liz?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll keep progressing on this and just kind of work on it as we can, because it's just kind of there's nothing so far that seems to be in the pattern that I've eyeballed. I haven't read through the whole thing. That seems to be too complicated.
No, I just remember that it gets a little sticky up by the collar. But I had a friend that was going berserk over it and couldn't get the collar straightened. And when I did it just the way they said, and it was okay. It worked out. I think I put the seam on the collar on the wrong side, but other than that, if you're breathing down my neck, you might notice it. But other than that, you're not going to notice it. So,
well,
we never finished the story about boho blush.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we got off on a tangent. How weird.
So I saw this yarn on the shelf, and it was just calling my name, and I had to have it. But I had to know what I was going to do with it, so it wouldn't just end up in my stash. So I said, maybe I'll make the boho blush, but the pattern is a solid color.
Right.
So Judi looked it up in the projects on Ravelry that had been made, and we found ones that were made with this striping yarn, so that I could see the effect and the difference. And so it gave me an idea, showed me what it was going to look like, and so I'm going to use it.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, Ravelry, I for me, when I was starting out, I really just kind of was like, let's look at ideas. And I use them, and I put hearts on them, and I'm like, this would be so much fun for this, or let's try that, or maybe I'll have a class on this. But there's so much more to it, and Judy's really kind of helped us. We
let Judi do the research.
I'm fine with that. I mean,
we don't want to do the work. We let Judi do it.
Want to do the work. I just want to have cool
Wait
stuff.
Wait till they see their bills. What do lawyers call
the lawyers' hours?
Billable hours.
Yeah, billable hours. So, they're going to be big, but I'll just throw some wool at her and she'll forget.
Fine.
Yeah, she'll forget. So,
but it's good to use that, especially when you get into. I've used it when I do a project, especially a sweater. I go into the projects page and I type in my size and I see other people who have done it. And then I find people who kind of are built like me and see how it looks on them. And sometimes I go, I don't think that's the one for me. And then sometimes, because I'm the rebel, really, I'm the quintessential middle child. I have a brother 2 years older and a brother 2 years younger. If you look up the definition of middle child, I fit all of them. So if everybody's going left, I go right. So sometimes I want to use a different yarn, mainly because I don't want to spend $550 on a sweater. So I'll go in and I'll go into the page that says yarn. And remember, we talked about the yarn page because that's where you can find the trip finder. So, and then I'll type in the yarn that I'm looking for. And if it's a commercial yarn, it'll be in their database. And so when you pull it up, it'll have the yarn, what it's made of and everything. If you look to the right of that picture, it tells you how many projects have been made with that yarn. That's the one you want to hit, because it pulls up everybody's projects page that have used that, and you can see the different ways that yarn has been used. And if you start looking at it and the way it knits up into a sweater, let's say, you go, oh yeah, that's going to be really pretty. I mean, that's how we found Zoe.
Right.
For this.
Right.
I did that.
Yep.
Or otherwise you look at it and you go, no, that's not the way I want it to look, and you know not to buy that yarn. There's another technique you can use, and it's free. If you just Google it, you type in yarn sub, SUB.com, and then you type in the yarn that the pattern calls for, and it will pull up all the yarns that are comparable to that.
That's cool.
All the different brands. It'll tell you this has the same drape, it has the same gauge, and you can. So that's another way. You don't always have to use the yarn that designer used, because she probably got it for free anyways. So, I'm done.
Yeah, but that is how we find. So what do you think, Judi, if next Friday, you're not away next Friday, right?
No, it's the 19th, and I'll probably just be a little late because I have to get my hair cut.
She's going to be so fancy when she gets here.
I have to tell you what I did about that.
Okay.
Because yesterday I get the text that says, don't forget you have a haircut appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I have to go. And even though all she does is just cut it, and then I come home and blow dry it, So I call her, I can't do it. And I didn't want to say, well, I do a podcast or whatever, because that sounds kind of snotty. So I'm a podcaster. I'm a TikToker. So I have to TikTok tomorrow.
Sorry, I cannot get my hairs did.
So instead, I said, well, I have a doctor's appointment. Oh, no problem.
How about a little white lie?
That's right. Dr. Tracy is here.
So she says, well, let me call you back, because this guy's giving up one of his, but he doesn't know which one. I said, okay. So she goes back and she goes, it's the 19th, okay, at 10:45. Was it
9:45, I think you said, yeah.
Instead of 9. Oh, sure, that's much better. It's on the Friday, too. Now I can't call back and say, I have another doctor's appointment. We're like, are you dying? What the hell's wrong with you?
What is wrong? We don't know yet. I have to go every Friday at 11 to find out what is wrong with me.
So, a lot of people would like it if I did do that.
So, what do you think of if
I'll be a little late on the 19th.
All right. Well,
but my hair will look different.
It's going to be so fancy. I'm sure I can come up with something witty to talk about.
It'll look pretty bad. It'll be in the baseball cap.
What do you think if we use that as the opportunity to kind of upload our projects? Because I've never uploaded a project that I've completed in Ravelry,
yes.
so that way I can kind of start mine for the shop and then go from there.
You should have that one done, and I'll teach you how to upload a photo and everything. Well, you can't, because you'll be using. Oh no, you can use your laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or we can even just put it on your iPad, because your iPad sometimes works in here. So we're in a cave here. If you've never been to my shop, it's in the back, kind of in the middle of this building, and you have to walk through a cave, and hopefully, no homeless people are sleeping next to my door.
It's just knitters waiting for us.
It is. They're like, what time are you open? It's 10:01. Why aren't you here yet? I need to get some yarn. So, but anyway, so it's kind of a cave. So sometimes our internet is sketchy at best. But yeah, so maybe we can try or I can, also throw my computer on.
Yeah, I do. I upload, except I haven't uploaded this yet. You guys need to take a picture of this. You did yesterday, but I have another one.
Put the one with your jammy bottoms in.
Oh, yeah. That's what my friend Pat said. I love that sweater. It goes well with your shorts and your pajama bottoms. I said, yes, it does.
It matches with just about everything.
Well, it's like when we were all in quarantine or whatever, the lockdown. My brother and sister-in-law texted me one day, and they go, oh, hey, listen, DSW, 40% off all their shoes, free shipping. I'm like, oh, okay. So, because we were bored, and we'd already ordered every single thing off of Amazon. There was nothing left for us to order. And so my husband and I both looked at it. We ordered a couple of pairs. So later on that afternoon, I texted him. I said, thanks for the tip. Gordon and I both got a really nice pair of casual, comfortable tennis shoes. And he texts back, being a smart aleck. He goes, "What'd you get it for? You're not going anywhere." And I said, "I ordered a very nice, comfortable pair that goes well with both my daytime pajamas and my nighttime pajamas, because that's all I'm wearing, because I'm not going anywhere." So.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to like vacuum in my very beautiful, expensive high heels because, well, I can't wear them here. I could wear them here. I don't mind the walking around, but our whole parking lot is all rocks and dirt. And I've made the mistake of wearing some of my beautiful shoes because what's the point of having them if you're not going to wear them? And they've dug up the heel because it's all, you're walking through like lava as you're trying to get into the store.
I wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, today I didn't even wear anything fun. Today I just wore chaos. But, so that's what I felt like this morning. It was chaos. So I have pinks on the top, polka dots on the bottom, and stripes on the feet. Oh, yeah. So that's my day.
She's mixing patterns today.
I am. I'm clashing. I'm walking chaos. So you're welcome. Yeah. So anyway. So we can do that. So I'll take some pictures. So all I need to do is what? Have them uploaded to the computer and then we can go for, okay.
Yeah.
So we can
I'll show you how to do it, and then you upload it to the computer and how to put it on. It's good to have a project page because, like I said, I used it to find what other people are looking like. And sometimes I put in, how hard is this pattern? I read people's notes, and I'm bad at that. I don't always put in people's notes. I mean, my notes about what I learned. Some people keep like a journal while they knit.
But here's the thing. I mean, how hard is it? What's hard to you would be impossible to me. And what's hard to me would be, like impossible to a beginner level. So how hard is that? That's a very subjective.
But see, like this, I would add in my notes how I changed this neckline, and you might get a message from someone saying, "Could you explain that to me?" I did this shawl that was absolutely gorgeous, and it goes this way, and it's cabled all the way across.
Oh, I love cables.
And it was 4 different charts that you had to kind of tape together and figure out where you were in it. And I wrote them out, and put them on note cards so you could follow the whole way across each row.
Oh, that's smart.
And flipped it.
That's smart.
I have had several people message me and say, "I read in your notes what you did. Could you," and I will, because I know they have the pattern and they've started it, so I'm not sending them the pattern. I'll make copies of mine and send it to them. So people, and with my pictures on it twice now. And one was just last year because I had made these elf hats for my grandchildren.
Oh, I can't wait to make those.
The designer emailed me and said, "I'm updating my project page. Can I put your hats on as a sample?"
That's so
and
cute.
so I said, "Well, let me check with my daughter-in-law first to make sure it's okay since her face is on it." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead and do it." So if you go to that, I think it's My Elf Hat or something like that, you'll see my grandkids in them. And so they for samples, and I did that for one other shawl. I had the designer email me and say, "I'd like to put your pictures," because I always do a front and I do a back, and depending on my husband whether it's good or not, his thumb might be in it too. And so I go, "But you do that. Your thumb."
We love you, sweet Gordon. We love you, sweet Gordon.
I have a funny story about that. So, and so it's on her page too, her designer page, because you'll see the samples. So, yeah. Famous.
Sorry, we'll do that so we can kind of get it squared away because we have this absolute doll face, Ashley. She makes beautiful, beautiful projects, and she also keeps all of the records of the stuff that she's made in Ravelry. And it was wonderful the other day because we had some other knitters in here on Thursday night, and we do get a great crowd Thursdays and Tuesday afternoons, just coming and working and having just like this, having fun, talking through things, and they were asking about different hat patterns and different things. She was able to pull up what the pattern she used was, what it looked like online, and her information. So 2 of the women that were here were able to see, oh, that's a great pattern, or that's not what I'm looking for. So it was really nice that all of her information, because first of all, I can't remember even what I ate for breakfast 30 seconds ago. So I'm definitely not going to remember what this thing was called and what I had issues with or what yarn I used. So that is a good way for people that all their brain cells have been eaten up by small children and COVID. That's a good way for us to remember what we've got going on.
It is just as loud in here on Tuesday afternoons, and of course I always have a story.
Yeah.
Always.
I can tell you about Gordon and
story.
we were in Gatlinburg, and we took the incline up to the top of the mountain at night, and so you could see Gatlinburg. It was just gorgeous with all the lights, and Mike, it's so gorgeous. Let me take your pictures to the boys. So he puts the first child there, takes the picture, because this was when we still had film, takes the picture. Then Mike stands in the exact same spot. 2 seconds later, Gordon takes the picture. We get the film back. There's Chris just standing there, beautiful. There's Mike with the strap right down through his face. And Mike's like, oh, I can see you're the favorite child.
Yeah, my husband, he hates taking pictures. So when I'm the one that's like, come on, let's take a picture. Everyone stand over there. Stop complaining. Just look like you're having fun. So he for our wedding, I told the guy, the photographer, I'm like, look, we're not doing posed pictures. I said, I want one picture only of our group in our bridal party. But other than that, I don't care. I want them to be candids, because my husband always looks like he's, in a mugshot or being off to be murdered. And so I'm like, I'm not going to even waste time doing that. And so first and foremost, because we had no formal pictures, we got married in Boston at the Boston Harbor Hotel, which is right on the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful hotel, and they have this big glass gazebo right on the water. So that's where our wedding was, and so it was great because all the lighting was perfect. It was 7:30 p.m. Everything, the night was starting to come in, and so then we did the whole blah 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 and pomp and circumstance after. And so while I was thanking everybody for coming, and everyone was getting on the boat because our reception was on a yacht, and the whole bridal party was gone. I'm like, where did everybody go? Because we didn't have any planned things. So then I had to send my best friend, she was my maid of honor, so I had to send her off. I'm like, could you please go get all the men? The men are all gone. And so they had to come back off the boat. They're holding their drinks like, I thought we weren't taking pictures. I'm like, I just want one. Just one picture. That's all I'm asking for. So we got them coming back, which is actually my favorite picture of the whole wedding because it's so funny. They all have this sheepish look on their face, drink in their hand. It looks like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Reservoir Dogs. So so it's an older movie, but all the men are walking in this line, and it looks like Reservoir Dogs, like that. This is what they're coming back, and they're hot, like But it was really funny though.
Somebody posted on Facebook today, not Facebook, just on the news or whatever, the cutest little video of a wedding prank, and they're standing up at the altar. And the minister says to the groom, do you take Kelsey, to be your lawfully wife, blah, 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 blah. And he gets done, he goes, just a second. And he turns around, and all the groomsmen and him huddle. And they're like, he does, yeah, I do. She was cracking up. The bride was cracking up.
Well, so we had, at our wedding, we had this priest, and we had gone through, the whole book and all this information. Which prayers would you like? Which things would you like to be read or included in your ceremony? And we just wanted a quick, nice, pretty, to the point ceremony because we wanted to get on the boat, get partying. So, and so we had gone through, and Troy and I had read this whole pamphlet, and I was like, what do you think about this? And yeah, I like this, or nah, I don't really feel this one. And there was this one about like gazelles jumping and blah blah blah. And he's like, if this is read at our wedding, I'm leaving. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not married to it. We're just looking at this pamphlet, right? And so we get to the wedding, and the priest is there in the front. He's got his book, and there's post-it notes, of course, on all the stuff that we want to have and all the information. And he gets up and he does his little spiel, about blah blah, the union and happiness and all that. And all of a sudden he starts going, I'm like, just pick a freaking post-it note. Pick a post-it note! Do something! So then he's like, he reads the one that Troy said he was going to leave. I was like, I'm standing there like, oh my God, of all of them, you're reading about gazelles. And I'm dying laughing because I hate nature. So the fact that I've now included leaping gazelles in our wedding, I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking at him, and he's got this look on his face. I'm like, holding on real tight. You're not running away on this one. So
you the wedding I went to.
We finally get to the end of it, and it was so funny. I mean, again, it was only 15 minutes, so it wasn't like this was a long time. I'm like, oh my God, there's only like 3 things. Pick a note, go with it. And then our nephew's 3, and he was so cute. He's like, is this thing over yet? So we were just like, I'm like, I don't know, hurry up before he runs away.
My friend's daughter got married. She wanted a whole, because Dad was very Catholic, a Catholic mass. Okay. So the priest that they normally had was in Italy for 6 months.
Oh.
So we have a seminary in our town. You know, it was, and it's where a lot of them retired. They go and they get this retired priest that says he'll do it. It was Tim Conway as the old man. It was hysterical. I had to bite. Gordon kept hitting me like, don't look at me because we'll laugh. And the same thing. He picked up and he was doing a lot of it in Italian. Is that it? Roman? And
Latin. That's Latin.
That's it. Latin. Thank you. Latin. And so he gets the Bible out and he's going. He just goes on and on, and he stops. And so we go. And Gordon's like, don't look at me the whole time, because we both knew we were going to burst out laughing. And then he has the guy the little altar boy bring the cup of wine.
Sacramental wine.
He goes, and he hands it to the boy, and the boy starts to walk off, and he goes, and the boy comes back and he goes, and now I'm like, my lip is bleeding, and I'm on the end aisle because
Gordon's probably got bruises from you whacking him.
Because I'm going to melt right in the aisle, trying not to laugh. And then he goes off in the middle of it into this little room.
Right in the middle of the wedding?
Yeah. Maybe for some prayer, but maybe he had to go to the bathroom. I don't know.
I may need a
so
refill.
we're all just sitting there, and then he comes back out.
What is going on here?
It's the funniest wedding I'd ever been to. Oh my Lord! It was Tim Conway as a priest. I mean,
we had this one wedding. Years and years and years ago. I was in my early, mid-20s at the time, and I went with my best friend to this wedding, and I didn't know the people getting married, but she's like, "You want to go with me?" I'm like, "Yes," because weddings are the best, and they're so much fun, and no matter what it is.
It's free food.
It's amazing because this is
that
what
you don't know, that your neighbors that you don't know.
No idea of any of these people, and it's a fun, it's festive. This is what somebody's dreamed of. I mean, like this is an awesome. I don't know why people don't like weddings. Weddings are amazing to me. You get all dressed up, you get to hang out. I mean, there's no pressure. It's just fun. So we went. She's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." So we met, and we go to this wedding, and it's a lovely, very quick ceremony, and then we went to where the reception was, and they were out getting their pictures taken as always. I think most people don't skip them like I did, but so they have these bowls. The hors d'oeuvres are Czech mix. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, I don't care. I just went. The bar was great. It was like $1.25 Coronas. I'm like, all right, this is terrific. So we're just having our $1.25 Coronas, and we're chatting it up with all these people, and blah blah blah. Well, they didn't have enough food for anybody, so the buffet was like this big and had just a few items in it. So by the time we got there, because we were kind of on the farther away tables, there was no food left. We're like, oh well. So we just having some more fun and just chatting it up. And all of a sudden, we're laughing and I can't you can't even imagine this, but my best friend Beth is just as loud and has the same laugh as I do. So we're very quiet and demure, I believe the word you're looking for is demure. So we're like, blah, 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 talking it up. And all of a sudden I get handed this little, I guess, wax paper bag. Just this little wax paper bag. Like almost like you would have, when you get greeting cards and they put them at the store in this little bag so it doesn't get ripped. And I get handed this wax paper bag and a fork. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Not paying attention. I got my Corona. La, 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 la. And then so we open up the plastic bag, and I'm like, oh, it's the wedding cake. They've given us the pieces of the wedding cake in this bag.
They want you to go.
That's so bad. So
nobody else got it.
Everybody got it. So the way the bride comes over, and she's known Beth forever and ever and ever, and she's this wonderful, lovely, lovely lady. And so Beth and I are smartasses. I'm sure you're surprised. And she goes, "Hey, so and so." She goes, "Nothing says get the fuck out like cake in a bag." She goes, "Yep, bye bye." She goes, "I'm going to see NASCAR. I'm getting out of here. Time for you all to go." So you're like, okay.
That's like an Ohio State football game. You do not in Ohio even think about scheduling a wedding on an Ohio State football game day. First of all, even your husband will not show up. No one will show up. You always check the date. Okay, so I'm at the point of a mitered corner, so I thought I would show you.
That's probably a good idea. Oh, we're here knitting? When did that start?
I've got a whole row done.
My intestines looking really good.
All right. So what they want you to do is to knit to 2 before the marker. So I've put in a little marker because if you don't, I forget. And I'm going to knit my 2. Okay. Take out my little don't forget marker. So I'm 2 before my marker. Can you see that? 2 before my marker. So they want you to slip the 2 as if you're going to knit 2 together. So you slip it. Take out the little marker. Put it in your teeth.
So sanitary, too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Knit 1. I can still talk. Then you're going to take those 2 slipped ones and pass it over the top. Okay? That makes my miter. Then you put the marker back in. Slightly wet. And then you go on. That's how you do the miter decrease. Very, very easy.
Oh, that is easy. All right.
So Liz going to talk about her stitch marker?
Yes. So now that I have her, we like to say she's voluntarily here, but really we're holding her hostage. So
She said that on the way here. She goes, you're always so kind. You always invite me. You never mind me coming down. And I said, I don't really invite you. You kind of send me I said, you kind of send me a text going, coming down in August, okay? And I was like, yeah, sure, okay, no problem.
But that's what I do to Beth, too. I'm like, hey, I'm flying up for this wedding, October. I'm like, can you pick me up at the airport? She goes, what time? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, okay. she's in TV, so she's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm always like, whatever, you'll be there, right? You'll just figure it out. Okay, thanks. But, okay, hold on. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna. So this lovely woman had the funniest story about her luggage when she arrived. Would you mind sharing this?
Well, it was always a big joke when I would come down here and I had this big red suitcase, and I would come to visit my cousins down here, and I always was over the weight limit, and I had to pay the extra, and then my cousin would complain. So I had my husband buy me on Amazon this bright pink suitcase.
Kind of matches this.
So I would, know when it was coming around,
Sure.
I would recognize it.
Sure.
And it has a TSA lock on it. So, I don't pay attention to that stuff. All I care about is my yarn goes in first, then my clothes, and then we see if it's overweight, then I take some clothes out.
Right.
So,
Prioritize.
yes.
You can always buy clothes once you get down here.
So I get to Judy's house, and we just, put the suitcase in the bedroom. And Judi says, do you want to go to the pool? And I says, sure. Judi goes off, puts her bathing suit on, and I go off to get mine. And I get to my suitcase, and the little button that you unlock it with won't work. So now I'm looking at it saying, I don't know what the combination is.
Right.
I never paid attention to any of that, so now I have to call my husband. And ask
Her
him
husband is the sweetest guy, but he overreacts sometimes.
Yes, he goes into complete
He goes
panic.
off the deep end, and then we talk him back, and it's fine.
So I call him and say, what's the combination? He says, I don't know what it is. Why did you touch it? I said, you know how many people handled this bag? The little buttons
You
got
couldn't blame
moved.
Gordon. I blame Gordon. He loves Gordon, so he wouldn't have gotten that.
So he says, okay, I'll call you back. He goes on YouTube to try try to find a video to how to unlock this thing.
And I am too. I'm Googling.
He calls me back, and of course, I can't get it to open. I'm trying to follow the video, and it will not open. So now I'm thinking, I'm just going to have to go through every single number.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
start with 001. Nope. 002. Nope.
Oh my God! I would have bashed the thing open by now.
I would have gotten wire cutters or bolt cutter or something.
It did
Gord's
cross
like,
my
my
mind.
swim shorts are really chafing. If we're not going to go swimming, I'm going to go take them off. And I'm like, okay, go ahead.
And I finally get to 141, and it opens.
Oh my God.
Thank God it wasn't 987.
I was going to say, she'd still be looking if that was the case.
So problem solved. We went to the pool.
So anyway, I am very, very blessed because when I first opened, she was here with Judi, and she said, I make these stitch markers. Would you like to look at them? And I absolutely love them, and people love them here. So I've got to show you my favorite ones, and if somebody doesn't buy these soon, they may disappear. So this one is my favorite one. Look at how cute these are. These are little skeins of yarn, okay, with needles in them. Oh my God, they're so, so, so cute. But she's got all kinds of different things. So we've got up close here, these are little elephants here. A lot of people love these. This is the cats. They're little cats. We've got a whole kind of part of our beach series here. We've got some with sand buckets. This goes along with Judi's theme, Fear of the Bluffton series. All right, so we've got those. But just all kinds of fun things. We've got tassels. We've got flowers. A lot of these sell very well here too. These cool rhinestone ones. So these are available. The pictures should be online. If you have any questions, email me. Okay, it's shrimpandknits@gmail.com. You can go online and go directly through shrimpandknits.com, and you can also send me a question there. But so let me know if you have any questions about those. But Liz, talk to us about how all this even came to be.
Well, I'm kind of like a crafter. I've been into a lot of different things. And for a while, I made jewelry. But then knitting kind of overtook everything. And
As it does.
Yes.
As it does.
When you're into too many things, you run out of room. So,
True.
So I got away from beading and making jewelry. But I never lost my love of looking at all these unique little beads. There's animals, there's, seashells, little bling things, and they're just so cute. So when I started knitting again, I said, I have to make these stitch markers because they're cute and they're fun to have, and you could do stitch marker exchanges, and people find these unusual things.
Life is too short to knit with ugly stitch markers.
100%. And I've actually had several people, because she puts them on these bigger safety pins, that buy them as almost like brooches or just a pin to wear, so they can be used for other things too.
So that's how I got started, and Tracy loved them.
I do.
I was here visiting a couple of weeks after she opened, and Judi brought me over. She said, "Oh, Tracy will love those. You have to bring them over so she can look at them."
Because the only place was whenever I was at the boutique, I would sell them.
Yes.
So it was like, she needs to sell more than just that. Have some money.
So she's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "I'll take the lot." And so, yep. And she sent down a whole bunch more pretty recently. So I've got a nice full stock right now. So when you come in, we have a lot of people that come in from out of town and want to take a nice little souvenir of Bluffton. So these are, we go with the Bluffton series of yarn, and we go with our, kind of beachy shells and different types of stitch markers. So,
And if there's anything you want, you can let Tracy know, and if I can find the beads, I can make them for you.
well, terrific. And we're also not letting her leave. So when she's chained up in the bathroom here, it's not weird. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
I lived here for about 8 years, I think. And then my kids back home, I have 4 children. My kids back home started to have babies. And I kind of wanted to be a full-time grandmother.
I get that. I do.
So we moved back to Rhode Island, and now I have 12 grandchildren who I just absolutely adore. They're my life. But I love being with them, but then of course there's always the screaming and fighting, and then I say to myself,
grandchildren last about 20 minutes, so they wear
Yeah.
you
Oh,
out.
yeah. Then you're like, oh my God, I forgot what it was like to have kids.
yeah, what am I doing here? I could be by the pool with Judi.
So at some point, maybe, or at least do half the year or something so that.
I know. She and I would have such adventures, and some days she would just come over and just sit in my Carolina room and we would just knit and maybe laugh once in a while. We would go in her convertible, and I had a cushion for some lady in the back end with the pattern, remember?
Yeah, we could hear it flapping around.
Yeah, it's on 278 somewhere. Not the cushion, but the pattern was flying.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
We're like, we gotta make another one.
No.
And then when Liz decided that she was going to move back to Rhode Island, I have a friend who at the time had one of the original gingerbread cottages on Martha's Vineyard, and she always
so
had
beautiful.
friends, and
Oh,
always
they're so
her
beautiful.
summers were always booked. And she said, "I have a week. Do you want to come?" I said, "Yeah." My husband says, "I really don't." And her husband's like, "I don't want you here while I'm packing up." We went, perfect. So we took off. Well, he's packing the car. She packed all of her yarn into my car because she was afraid Drew wouldn't pack it. She goes, "I'm afraid he'll leave it."
Left in the house.
So I said, "Okay, we'll
took it
pack
all
it
with
up."
us.
And we went on a girls' trip. And we left on a
it
Sunday
was
morning.
So much fun.
We stopped at any yarn store and every yarn store we wanted to. Stopped in Rhode Island long enough to dump off her yarn at her daughter's. Then we went to Martha's Vineyard for a week. It was so much fun. And then we got off the boat and went to New Hampshire to visit our other knitting friend, Norma. And she took us to Webb's.
Ooh.
And we bought more yarn.
And we bought more yarn. And then we came home, and I was going to wait and drive home by myself on a Sunday so it wouldn't be that crowded. Well, my car started having trouble. The cruise control kept going out.
Oh.
So I was afraid, and then you guys were having trouble closing on your new house.
Right.
So I was like, well, I can't stay. Because obviously she had a newborn and a 2-year-old. But on Friday, we drove to Newport in Bristol, Rhode Island, where I had lived when I was 10 years old, and I found my child at home, and that was
Oh,
really
that's fun.
Yeah.
So I said to Gordon, I can't stay. I got to go. Friday morning, Friday morning. Thursday was when we went to Bristol and all.
Did you go to the parade when you were little? That's always the big parade in Rhode
Yes.
Island. Yeah,
So-
4th of July.
So, Gordon was like, well, don't take, because we took a back way into New York City and all, and up through there, so
Sure.
we didn't have to take 95 and that awful route. And I was afraid to take it on the way home because my car was having trouble, and there was long stretches of nothing on that other road. So I wanted to be on 95 so that if I had trouble, I was right there where everybody could. So I'm going to drive through New York City by myself on a Friday. And so her husband,
That
Drew,
sounds fun.
Drew says, "You're okay. You'll be okay." He goes, you can handle it. He goes, "Just make sure that you're in the left lane for the George Washington Bridge. Just make sure you get in the left lane and you'll be fine." I'm like, okay. So I left her house at like 5 a.m. on a Friday morning. It started to rain.
Oh, gosh.
All I could remember was Drew said get in the left-hand lane. Drew said get in. So I'm pretty sure I got in the left-hand lane like in Connecticut. But I didn't care. I was in the left-hand lane. You don't like it? Tough. You see my license plate? I'm from South Carolina. I'm going to play Southern Dumb. I don't know. And I just kept on going. So I drove through New York City in the pouring down rain on a Friday morning by myself and survived.
You did, and you're here to tell the
That's
tale.
why
of
I'm
it.
a badass.
We're very rule driven though, which even though it seems like maybe we aren't. So last night we decided we were all going to go out to dinner because Liz was in town. We had done our knitting thing. I'm like, let's grab a bite to eat. This will be fun. So the first place we wanted to go, there was a line out there. I'm like, I'm hungry now. I'm gonna be hangry. Gotta get some food. So we decided to go to this place that's just down the street from us, and we pull in. And I'm like, oh, there's a spot right there. Park there. And there's a sign that says, parking for this location only. And it wasn't the location we were going to. I'm like, it's closed. I know it's already like almost 8 o'clock. I'm like, that place is closed. You can park there.
But I was scared too. I didn't want to call my husband. After the barista incident, I didn't want to call my husband and say I lost the car.
So we were like, I'm like, it's going to be fun. The place isn't open. She's like, are you sure my car's going to get towed? I'm like, no, I'm not sure your
I
car's
know,
not
she
going to
says
get
that,
a
I'm like,
We should be all right.
He's like, we should be okay.
so I don't know for sure.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm not a betting girl, but, you know. So then she moves, and I said, well, hey, there's 2 spots over there. Go park over there. And then so
And there's
Liz...
a ditch that goes straight down.
Well, that's not where I told you to park, you fool. I told you to park up on the right.
Yeah, but I couldn't because that's where the golf carts park.
They weren't there. It's
I
not
would've
their
been
parking. Oh, yeah. So anyway, she comes and she parks on the edge of a cliff. I'm like, and she goes, well, that emergency brake is down. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Well, it wasn't even 10 minutes later. The manager comes over. Yeah. He's like, is that your car over there? She goes, yes, it is. He goes, well, you're going to need to move that. She goes, oh, thank God.
Guess where? In the spot where I was supposed to.
Right where I told her to park in the first place.
So I go to move it really fast before somebody drives up and takes it, right? So I get in the car, I throw the keys on the seat, and I park it, and I move. I can't find the keys. Apparently when I threw it, it didn't land on the seat, but I didn't realize it. I cannot find the key. And I'm like, it's got to be there. Maybe it fell out on the, when I jumped in, it fell on the ground. So it's one of those keyless ones. So I tried it. I went, no, it starts. It's got to be somewhere in here. So they're waiting. I've got all 4 doors open on the car.
We're like, where is she?
And
I'm
I
like, she probably ran into someone that she taught in Ohio. So 'cause she runs into people everywhere she goes.
So I am like climbing in and out of the seats. I'm over. What the hell? Where did the keys go? I'm not calling Gordon and telling him I lost the keys. Because those buggers are expensive. So finally I pushed her seat up all the way. And I found it. And it's gone down and around and underneath the car. So I come back and she's like where were you? I don't want to talk about it.
So anyway, well, that is our time. And we thank you so much for joining us in our ridiculousness. I'm going to say thank you, Sleepy Crafts. I'm thanking, let's see, we've got, and the only Nairi you know. Oh, the only Nairi you know. Thank you guys so much. It's really good to see you. I appreciate you joining us. If there's anything that you have any questions, if you're working on Flaming June and you have some questions, if you have some other questions, if you have an anecdote, send us some pictures. We love to see what you're working on, and we really do appreciate your time and your support. We hope you enjoy our show. We will be here next Friday, hopefully, if all goes well. I can cut your hair if you want.
Oh, yeah.
No one
Judi
wants
might
it.
be.
If you cut my hair the way I make iced coffee,
It's going to be
It's gonna
good.
be a mess.
It's going to be a hot
that's another story.
That's a story for a different time.
Yes, it involves
Okay.
punching babies.
It does
and-
not. It's yeah. All right, my friends, have a fabulous week. We hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon at Low Country Shrimp and Knits. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.